George Ezra, how are you? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm looking at my crystal ball, and were you here last night ordering Guinness?
What do I look like? I was here ordering Guinness.
Were you then told you're supposed to order Murphy's in Cork?
I was told to drink Murphy's in Cork, and I enjoyed it.
Good.
So I had another.
Hey.
And another. No, I'm joking.
Hey. Yeah, and oysters might be a nice mix with that as well.
Really?
Go post show. Oh, unless of course maybe seafood whilst on tour.
Yeah, maybe not the best idea.
Is that one of those things?
Is that a thing though?
Oh yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, Guinness and oysters. Yeah, that'd be. If you get yourself over to the West Coast.
Okay.
Down to West Cork.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Exactly. What gig? You are playing Irish Independent Park tonight. The first of it's like 6 gigs in 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting time. A lot of great artists. But you're opening it up, and it's a pleasure for me to be chatting to you, George. The gig sold out in minutes. You're a bit of a phenomenon here. Are you aware of that?
I didn't know that it sold out in minutes.
Like heartbeat. Amazing. Like I was just waiting for there's going to be gig 2 and gig 3, but obviously they had plans for other gigs in the successive nights.
Well, that's amazing that it sold out quickly.
Oh, it's yes. Of all of the lineup, it's been the phenomenon. There's no question about that.
Well, that's very nice to hear.
You and I have hung out before. I'm not sure if you remember.
How long ago?
5 years.
Ooh.
Yes.
Which means I would have been 20 or 21.
I won't admit what I was then.
Okay.
Younger though.
Yeah.
DeBarra's in West Cork.
Oh.
Bastille, Walking on Cars, and George Ezra.
I was talking about this last night. Was that it's a small pub?
It's a famous music bar in West Cork, well known for its trad music, but all sorts of music. But it's certainly a folk club is very famous in there. Clonakilty itself is a beautiful town of West Cork that I would recommend you spend time in if you can. Yeah. But you were in DeBarra's on a Guinness Amplify event.
I loved that night. I really did.
Too.
I think because, I would have started touring when I was about 19, and everything, even now, things still feel new to me at times, but that period, that first 2 or 3 years was just, there wasn't a day where my mind wasn't being blown. Just like, this is amazing, going to places, and that gig stands out. I remember driving back to the hotel that I was staying at with some guys, and we stopped, and there was a model of an old car on the side of the road.
I have the story for you.
Do you?
I have the story. It's the Model T. Henry Ford's family were from there. Henry Ford's granddad, Ballinascarty, West Cork, emigrated to the States. And Henry Ford, which is why there was a Ford factory opened here in 1920, as it was in East London in Dagenham.
Okay.
And lots of Cork people used to work over in the factory, and they were called the Dagenham something or other. Oh, I nearly had that. I nearly had the whole story there, didn't I?
Well, there's a picture of a very drunk George Ezra on that model.
Silver Model T Ford
in
Ballinascarty, where Henry Ford's family were from. And the GA pitch there is the Henry Ford pitch and everything. Cool. Yeah. So that was a great night. I really enjoyed it. And that was kind of paradise type time, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we did, that day, actually, we did a little acoustic session in a really beautiful studio out in the countryside somewhere, which I never saw. So maybe they never used it. Maybe they said, who invited that kid? But I've never seen it. Maybe it's out there.
Well, maybe there's someone now going, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm sat on the tapes.
Where is that drawer? Someone quick.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Yeah. And here we are 5 years later. And, is it an 8,000 capacity tonight, I think, in
I don't
more?
know.
10, 12, Gráinne's in the background. 15, get out. It's not, is it? Wow, that's unbelievable. That is a lot of people. And you're the first one. Like, there's been events there before, and music events, like I think the Three Tenors and this sort of various Pavarotti type things. But you're the first kind of pop rock gig that's going to be there, and the first in a series of 6 over the next 7 nights. So it's exciting times here in midsummer, solstice tomorrow night, isn't it?
Somebody was telling me, yes, it is. Somebody was telling me about. Is it the Marquee, the blue Marquee? That sounds cool.
There's a Live at the Marquee event that's happened over the last 15 odd years or so down the Docklands.
Yeah.
Series of gigs on there as well. Versatile are a Dublin hip hop act, sold out tomorrow night. There's a 1-day festival with various kind of house acts playing on Saturday. But it's a very varied lineup as well.
It just sounds like such a good idea to have that kind of big top tent set up for a few months each year. It's brilliant. Now,
I'll let you in on a little secret. It's because we don't have an event centre to put things. Bit of an ongoing controversy in Cork. Listen, I don't know, are you a rugby man by any chance?
No.
Just to let you know, what you're playing in is the home of rugby in Cork, Munster Rugby.
That's good
the
advice.
Province.
I'm not anti-rugby.
No, but a little reference to that.
Okay, brilliant.
would go down a treat.
Okay.
So any Munster fans here tonight?
Someone told me that I should refer to it as the real capital. Would that go down well?
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't see it going down badly anyway.
Okay.
It means you're in on the local,
good.
the knowledge. But yeah, that's where Munster Rugby, the province of Munster, of which Cork is the capital. Limerick is kind of where the big stadium is and where they play most of their matches. But Musgrave Park, Irish Independent Park, where you are tonight, is where they play here in Cork.
Amazing.
So a little reference to that would not go amiss whatsoever. But that was kind of paradise time, 2014.
What of my?
Sorry, I suppose in terms of us on radio, I think we were playing that song at that time.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
No, because I only released Paradise on this album. Yeah. So it was like...
Oh, sorry. Budapest. What am I talking about? My apologies.
Absolute Budapest time. That was like... And I know I touched on it earlier, but this whole everything being new, there was no sense in the kind of George Ezra camp of we couldn't grasp what it was that Budapest was doing or what to expect of where it was going. We hadn't experienced anything like that before. Up until that point, I'd released a few songs, and the reason that musicians have managers is because I've never met a musician that understands that you might want to charge for your services or might be owed, so then it's like you should be being paid more for this gig or whatever, and you go, really, I would have done it for free, is you're thinking, especially at 18, 19. And then this was around the time, okay, you've got some songs, now let's try and put a bit of might behind them and get people to hear them, and then it just got taken out of our hands. And I still have a different relationship with Budapest to other songs, because it doesn't really sound like a song to me anymore. When I perform it, it sounds like its own thing, I love it. It has an entity all of itself.
Yeah, I don't own this song anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But that kind of happens, though, I presume, with songs when you're sitting there and there's 15,000. Actually, sitting there is... No? How's the ankle bearing up?
Ankle is okay. It's still... I'm going to be sat tonight.
Which must be annoying.
No, do you know what? I really was not looking forward to sitting down. I was very nervous about it.
Different performance?
I loved it. And it really... I mean, there's 8 of us on stage, so there's 7 other guys, part of the job description is to have a lot of energy on stage on this gig anyway. And yeah, the thing that I don't want to do is, because although my ankle's feeling better, for anyone listening, I sprained my ankle, it's very boring, but although it's feeling better, I know it's not strong, and I don't want to mess it up further.
And are you a leap around the stage type guy anyway?
I am normally, yeah. I get quite excitable. And I like to put a lot of pressure on my right ankle. That's like a trademark move of mine, is to lunge back into that ankle. No more, though.
Oh,
yeah.
Sad stuff. Well, look, best of luck with that in advance. To go back, though, for you to be out on stage and to see 15,000 people singing your songs back at you, it might kind of feel like, wow, this was mine once, it's not anymore.
But that's exactly it. And it's the... I don't know, although we sing it every night, we don't listen to it, we don't press... every now and then I call it hearing it in the wild. Every now and then I'll hear Budapest in the wild and it will come out on the radio or something. And it's just... In the wild. Yeah, it just...
IRL.
Yeah, in real life. Yeah, I love it. It makes me smile, the song.
Well, by the way, would you have ever imagined we'd Ed Sheeran for 3 nights in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, the home of GA in Cork here, recently rejuvenated and revitalised, and it was fantastic. What was amazing to me is to see the breadth of ages of all people that were enjoying that gig and loved it. And I think similar to you have an appeal that stretches across the ages. Certainly, I know that there's youngsters, like, I don't know, do you have a name for your fans? The Ezraites?
No.
Because I know you like making up words, that's the thing.
Yeah, I used to find it funny. It was new to me. Maybe I'm just not as up on pop culture as I should be, but I remember finding out that people gave their fans names, and I found it funny. And so I tried to kind of, again, this was when I was about 18, come up with a name that sounds more like a cult, like something you wouldn't really want to be a part of. So that was the Ezra Nights.
That is a real. That was also my own work there on that one. I wasn't aware of that.
I was kind of taking the mick of myself when doing that, and then people took it on, and I was like, I need to stop this because I don't want this to be a thing.
Well, you had another fake word as well, didn't you? Peyton or Payon?
Yes, I did. That was, again, it's just...
let's see, can this catch on?
Exactly that. You're kind of... I don't know, maybe the power of it was alluring, but me and my friends realised that there was people listening to what I was saying on the internet, which is always a scary thing. So then we kind of decided, well, let's see if we can make something up. Will they run with it? And again, they did. So I tried to knock that on the head as well. I didn't like it.
Which almost ties in, in terms of how, the appeal that you have and the young fans. Like, there is a big coterie of massive George Ezra fans. I mean, they love singing your song. I've seen it myself. I had to do this community event recently. I did there was a table quiz as a fundraiser for a playground in my local community. And I was like, yes, I will happily do that. Sounds like a lovely thing to do. And it was a great community experience in the local GA hall, all the families. And they got me to do a kids disco after it.
Amazing.
Guess what was the top song? Like that I was being hounded for.
Was it Shotgun?
It was Shotgun, George. That's amazing. Incredible.
Yeah, but this is it. So we talk about Budapest and that taking on a life of its own. And I, if I'm honest, at the end of the first album was, fairly confident that I would never have a song that would, commercially speaking, be as big as Budapest. Because that was already, and Shotgun surpassed it, tenfold. And now we end every set with Shotgun. And
well, there you go, a little advance, because I'll be playing this evening on the Drive Show ahead of the gig, so people listening to this will literally be making their way to. Super excited. There's a young guy, a Callum Scanlon. He's about 6. I forgot his t-shirt. His mum brought me in his t-shirt. It's tiny. It was so cute even to see it. I forgot it. I forgot to bring it to get you to sign it. He won tickets to see you by singing Hold My Girl.
Okay.
I will show you that video after, if that's okay, just so you can for him to know that you saw the video of him singing your song that won him the tickets to go to the gig tonight. I think he couldn't sleep last night.
No.
Both over the fact that you were going to hear his name.
What was his name again?
Callum Scanlon.
Callum. And how old's Callum?
He's 6.
6 years old.
His mum's been plaguing me, I have to say.
Yeah.
Noelle, if you're listening, job done. I'm talking to George Ezra about Callum. Super fan. He'll be there tonight.
I hope you enjoy it, Callum. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, George. But it's fantastic. So look, it must be a special moment, that closing of Shotgun. And I presume you hand over most of the song, do you?
No, well, I still enjoy singing it. So like, okay, there is...
Yeah, it's like hands off crowd. Yeah. I still like it, okay?
Yeah. No, it is a bit of a different version live. Not that it's not unrecognisable. It's just, we've just made it longer because we enjoy it. And yeah, I love it.
Nice one. Well, it's a pleasure having you here in Cork, George Ezra. I hope it's not the last time we'll see you here. Maybe we'll get you to Parky Queeve for the 45. But by the way, in terms of you and where you're at, the scale of things, where's this? Is this a sort of a normal 15,000 thing, or are you moving into new territory with this, or is there anything maybe more daunting about this kind of gig tonight to others?
There is something more daunting about it. It's not necessarily the size. I think it's more the fact that it's our headline show, but it's outside. So normally my headline shows are inside.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that. But we're in the middle of festival season, so that doesn't feel odd, really. The other thing is, although we've been playing to huge audiences over festival season, there's always you're kind of aware that a certain percent of the audience are kind of tourists to your music. There's they're there to check it out, whereas tonight we're all very aware that people have bought tickets to see us, which on the one hand is brilliant because they're on your side, or you hope they are, and then
oh, George, they are.
But we did our last festival last year was Electric Picnic, and somebody about 5 minutes before I went on stage, somebody reminded me that Shotgun had been number 1 over here for many weeks in a row. I don't know how many weeks, but it was insane playing that song live.
I think I caught the end of your set. I think I caught Budapest right at the end, which was great to hear too. Electric Picnic can be one of those sorts of things. You're not really sure, are you coming or are you going?
Yeah.
Are you up or are you down or what day is it?
There was one dad.
I'm in a field, there's music and people.
There was one dad that had obviously been dragged along and did not want to be at a George Ezra gig. For the whole thing, he was kind of had his head in his hands, and then just at the end, he started to tap his cheek along to Shotgun. And that
Do you
made
notice?
the whole thing.
Do you notice those things?
Do you know the saddest thing? This is sad to admit because I don't know what it kind of reveals about my insecurities, but you can be stood in front of however many thousands of people and you will instantly see the one boyfriend or dad or that does not want to be there. And instead of looking at everyone singing, dancing, clapping their hands, smiling, you look at this one, Scrooge, and you just and it becomes your only aim in that show is to get them to smile or something. And I managed it with him, so it was good. That's why Electric Picnic was a success.
That is brilliant. That's how George Ezra judges the success of a gig. Can I turn that one miserable in the audience? And I did it that time. George, thank you so much.
Not at all. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
Not at all. Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.